Alright, so I'm back, and today we're going to take a look at the, this is the Beast Alliance, Oversized Terrorsaur, and we'll also take a quick look at the, Airazor as well. So here's the box. The top, as you see, the Beast Overwatch and Beast Alliance. And then what's interesting, I think, is down here in the bottom of the box, TB-03, Fans Toys. These are not Fans Toys. I can tell you that. I mean, unless they're getting into knocking off Legacy and Earthrise figures or Kingdom figures. Oh man! So I think somebody's knocked off their name. I think that's pretty funny, actually. So here they are, and I have issues with them. I have a lot of issues with them, which is a bummer because they're almost great. The first issue, and this is why we're doing these videos together and not individually. And doing full reviews on them. He's misassembled to the point where he can't transform. And she's misassembled to the point where she can't transform. So, there we go. I spent about 20 minutes trying to fix his neck swivel. His neck swivel doesn't work to really get him left and right, and then the hinge to fold it into the torso won't bend past a certain point unless you have it backwards. And if you have it backwards, then it still won't fit. It's shoddy construction. There's other issues with these guys too, and then her big one is the fact that she has two right hands, and because the way they plugged it in here, I can't fold the hand up to do anything, like I can here. This one won't move. So, yeah, there's the big knock against them. Just right out of the bag. They don't transform. So, if you're interested in picking these up, I would say, anticipate issues. The Terrorsaur comes with the golden disc, which is nice. I mean, I'll add it to my golden disc collection because I got some with the MPs, and he does come with the blaster. And the other big glaring issue with these guys, and this is actually pretty devastating. Look at these hands. What in the hell did you do? You upscale a transformer, but you don't upscale the hands? Look at these things. I mean, look at these things. What are you going to do with this? Unbelievable. I ordered these, and then a friend was like, they didn't do anything with the hands, right? And I'm like, no way. And I looked at it, and I was like, yep, that's what they did. But yeah, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. Not being able to transform is bad enough. And then misassemblies is also pretty bad. But having these tiny little hands makes it almost worthless to what I was wanting to do with them. I don't know what they're thinking with this. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, already right out the bat, these things are crap because of that. But let's continue talking about them. So let's move her out of the way, and we'll take a closer look at Terrorsaur here. Face sculpt is good. I mean, sculpt wise, it's the same as the mainline one, but it's good. It's fine. It's painted decently. It looks like they spray painted it, and they missed the bottom part here and right around the eyes. So just kind of not the best there. But this metal, though, this gunmetal color here. I don't know if that's a plastic or metallic plastic that they're using, but it looks pretty good. And then they have this like darker gray in here. All of that looks fantastic. You've got the, like I said, the gunmetal here, and then the darker gray here. Looks great. And then you got the bottom legs. These are die cast, and they're painted this nice red, hot rod red. It would have been nice if the rest of the red plastic would have been painted like that. Like, if you're gonna do it, let's do it. It does match fairly well with the base red plastic, but at the same time, like I said, it's like, if you're gonna do it, let's do it. Like if this thing was painted in this, it would have been breathtaking. Like, maybe not like the fleshy bits, but the robot bits. It just would have been stellar, I think. And he's got the metallic gray gun, which of course he can hold, which is bizarre because it's like, I don't know why they made such little hands. Oh man. Alright, and then posability, his head is on a ball peg, so you basically just get the left and right and a tiny little bit up. Shoulders are on universals, so rotates around, out to the side, bicep swivel, bends at the elbow. There is that wrist hinge up and down as well, which obviously doesn't work on Airazor because of build issues. He's got a waist swivel. Hips are on universals, so up to there, back to there, out to the side. They seem a little loose, like if they wanted to make it a little bit of a higher quality KO, they could have put a ratchet in there. That would have been nice. Bicep swivel, bends at the knee, and then a ball peg for the foot, and of course, he's got that backwards hinging leg there. But I mean, if it wasn't for those hands, he actually looks pretty decent, pretty good actually. I would say. So let's set him off to the side, and we'll take another look at the Airazor. So she's got all of this like dry brushing and washing on the wings. Looks pretty good. Heads on a ball peg, so you get the left, the right, up, down, all that works well. For the most part, it's painted pretty well. No issues there. Bicep swivels, hinges in and out. Universals at the shoulders, sorry. Bicep swivel, bends at the elbow, and then of course her wrist doesn't move up and down because of those build issues, and then she does come with these little missile pods. When you plug those in, it does help the overall aesthetic of her, because it kind of covers up those little hands. Maybe we can do something like this for her pose on the shelf, just to kind of cover it up a little bit. And it doesn't look as bad. It helps out a little bit. She got the waist swivel. Hips are on universal, so you can move the skirting up. And then back to here. It would go back further, but this is all kind of getting caught up. Out to the side. There's a thigh swivel just above the knee. Knee, pretty good bend of the knee. It's a little on the looser side, but not terrible by any means. These, again, are die cast like Pterosaurs. And then the foot's on the ball joint. Again, it all works pretty well. She's got the nice gold paint. I mean, like they went all out on the paint on her, with the feather detailing, like the breakups on the grays and the browns. You got the purple, orange, the gold. You got gray plastic here. Looks like a little spillage might happen on there, but it's not terrible. Well, I mean, it's pretty bad, but all of these are painted. You got silver, gold. I mean, painted pretty well for being a KO. That's the thing. These are KOs. Plastic quality is it's pretty top shelf, I would say. If you were to hand this to me, like if it had better hands and you were to hand it to me and I didn't really, like dive into it and I didn't know, what it was, I would say that it's official. It feels good. The plastic is pretty good. Scale wise, here she is with Primal, and she's actually, I'd say, pretty close to in the scale. Let me see if I can find a picture. Let's see. Well, let's go. What's that stupid picture where they're all like, come on, where she's like on the side. It doesn't quite work. Yeah, I can't seem to find it. So, but I do think it's about right. So that's nice. I have to say I do like that. She's not in that picture, is she? Oh, yeah, she is. She's up at the top. Okay. Yeah, there's not a good point of reference on this one. But yeah, I do think she's just about right. Maybe a little bit shorter, but we're talking, it's minuscule, like size where she should be versus where she is. I think scale-wise, I mean, they did this right. They scaled it to the right point. They just failed on the hands. And then Terrorsaur here, he's a Predacon, so let's get him with Megatron. And he should be about to the waist of Megatron, and that's about right. So again, I'd say these guys are just, scale-wise, they're great. Plastic-wise, they're great. Build-wise, they're overall done pretty well. I mean, like how the hinges work and the ball pegs work, all of that's done pretty well. The biggest problems is the QC. So the misassembly on parts, making it so that they don't transform, is a bummer. It helps me out because it's like I could just cram these guys into one video. But that's a bummer. Not being able to transform them, it sucks. But at the same time, they're KO, so I kind of expected issues. But the tiny hands kills it. It fucking kills them. If they would have figured that out, worked that out so that they had normal-sized hands moving forward, they would actually have a really solid release here. And I would have highly recommended these guys to Beast Wars collectors because they're filling in two massive voids from the Season 1 shelf. This Airazor almost finishes the shelf. All we need now is a Rhinox, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Given that I'm using the Rat Trap, the Generations Rat Trap in there. But it's like essentially you give me a Rhinox and that shelf is complete, at least well enough until more official MP stuff comes out. And it's like if they would have done a better job with these guys, I would say that you wouldn't even need an MP, is the thing. That's how close these things are. Oh. And then the Pterosaur, you know, we've only got 2 Predacons for season 1. 2 out of the 7. So we're missing 5 Predacons. So this helps that shelf out so much. But it's like, if they would have fixed the hand thing, and of course, you know, made them transform, you know, thrown some more hardware into like the hips, you know, making them ratchets or something like that, you know, and, you know, fill in these gaps, because it's like, hey, you know what, like, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And then done all the robot red with this hot rod red, you know, like the head and the arms. You know, you can leave the fleshy bits of the pterodactyl as the bare red plastic. You know, that would give it, you know, something different in between the two. You know, and, you know, cleaned up that head paint there. But like, if this hot rod red was on the head, man, this thing would have been fucking stellar. Like, this thing would just look great next to Megatron. You know, it's just like, they're almost great. But as it sits, I have to give them a 4 out of 10. At best, I'd recommend them as place fillers until you can find something better. But as it sits now, I you know, it's not a recommend for me at all. I think they failed pretty badly, and it sucks because they were actually, like I said, like I keep saying, they were like this close to the fucking finish line, and then they fucking stumbled and did a face plant in the mud. These things would have been great had they just put a little bit more fucking effort into this. But instead we get these tiny hand, misassembled figures that, you know, I'm gonna put on the shelf, but I'm gonna, like, you know, he's gonna be holding his gun in this hand, and Black Arachnia will stand here, so it's just kind of holding her, or, you know, hiding her hands, and then, you know, maybe I'll try and cross her arms and then put Rat Trap in front of her or something like that, just to kind of. But that's the pose I like Primal in too, so it's just kind of like, maybe I'll put Cheetor in front of her as well, like Cheetor here, Rat Trap here. You know, something like that, or put her near Tigertron. You know, it's just like, you know, having to put them on the shelf and then hide their hands is stupid. I shouldn't have to do that. And it's just a shame, because they could have had, essentially, like, they could have had like this fucking really great thing going. Because if they would have knocked these guys out of the park with, you know, just a little bit more paint, a little bit more hardware, you know, maybe not. But definitely fix those hand issues. You know, then I would be eagerly awaiting their next release. Like if they did an oversized Scorponok and Inferno, count me in. You know, I would have been all over it. Rhinox, sure, let's do it. You know, who else am I? Waspinator? Let's get a Waspinator on the shelf too. You know, like, let's get it done. You know, I don't care at this. I'm actually at that point where I don't care if Takara doesn't do it. Like, let's do stuff like this, because these guys were at least good enough. At least they picked the 2. You know, the Airazor, which was the best one out of that line of Kingdom. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I can't really fully recommend them. I'd say, you know, if you're like me and you just really want to put something on the shelf, then go ahead. Or if you're curious, go ahead. But, you know, I wouldn't just be like, I wouldn't just buy these thinking like, oh yeah, these guys are definitely the next Masterpiece figures. You know, because they're not. They're good, but they're not that good. I mean, I can't even call them good. They're bad. They're straight bad. They're almost good. And yeah, I guess that's all I got.